Do you know why we'll never bring manufacture back to America? Manufacturing is gone. It's automated. You think people in China are making things by hand? No, it's by robots now. This is why union is so important. That's why the Communist Party of China, or CPP, whatever you want to call it, they're protecting the people because everything's getting automated in China. Like, there is no manufacturing jobs. It's like saying we're gonna bring farmers back. No, farmers are gone. Like, we're being replaced by robots. It's been going on for decades. However, if we educate and invest in our people, maybe we'll be creating these robots as opposed to being replaced by them. Huh? Maybe, huh?
People are asking me whether I'm afraid of the potential price increase in China caused by the new American tariff policy. So I looked around my house for some American products. The only thing that I can find is this iPhone 16 that I use for TikTok. And it's probably also made in China. So no, I don't think the new tariff law will change my life at all.
China, listen, China, pulled $50 billion with a B, $billion out of our bond market, and is now investing that money in Europe. $50 billion. We used to be the trusted people, the trusted country to invest money in the world. This is how we acquire things, and financially how we like are, the powerhouse of the world. She has come to Trump and said, I think you're a moron, I think you're impulsive, I think all the negative things I can't say on TikTok right now, and just pull them, boo-boo. Like I said, it is going to go down on the international stage. China.
You're gonna get a smog. Bring the manufacturer back to America, right? Let's talk about it. How about the pollution? You guys think all those factories coming back without any consequences? You're gonna get a smog. You're gonna breathe in the fine particles, those toxic fine particles, the ones that never gonna come out of your lungs. And it's gonna end up in your water, your soil, eventually gonna end up in your food, you're gonna consume them. You know what? That means cancer. In the 90s, China had about 1 million pollution-related cancer cases a year. Now, it's over 4 million every year. My mom, she is a 4-time cancer survivor, 4-time for the last 20 years. I believe pollution played a big part in that. You know what? Chinese medical system helped her, saved her. Oocyte, gone. Thyroid, gone. Half of the ovary, gone. So are you ready for that? I'm not talking about just you. It's not about you. It's always about the people around you. Your family, your parents, your kids, your neighbors, your friends. It's really hard when you seeing them rolling around in pain on bed because of chemotherapy. You're gonna say, oh, we're gonna use green tech, less pollution. That's right, but it's very expensive. And that means less profit. You think they're gonna do it. I believe they're gonna cut corners or do nothing. Because pollution control does not sell stock. There's a cost to progress. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's deadly.
Here's what they won't teach you in school. America didn't lose manufacturing. We gave it away. Not because we couldn't do it, but because our government policies and corporate leaders made it easier and cheaper to send it overseas. In the 1970s and 80s, U.S. policy shifted. Instead of protecting American factories, Congress cut deals and signed trade agreements like NAFTA and China's entry into the World Trade Organization that made it easy for companies to move production to countries with cheaper labor. These weren't accidents, these were choices made to benefit Wall Street and not working people. As factory jobs disappear, America reinvented itself, but not in manufacturing. We moved to design, branding, tech, and entrepreneurship. Think Apple. See, the iPhone was designed in California, but assembled in China. The money is in the brand, the marketing, the software, not building the product. So America became the land of Legos and not labor. Meanwhile, China did the opposite. See, they focused on becoming the world's factory. They invested in production. They trained their workers and they scaled up. Now they don't just make toys and t-shirts. They build electric cars, solar panels, and advanced tech. That's why China leads in global manufacturing today. They never abandoned it. But here's the problem. America got so obsessed with being innovative, we forgot somebody else has to build the things we dream up. And now we depend on other countries for everything, from medicine to microchips. The truth is, manufacturing didn't disappear, it moved. And our own policies pushed it away. So when politicians like J.D. Vance or others are blaming foreign workers, ask them this: who passed the laws that made outsourcing easy? Who gave tax breaks to companies that shut down American factories? Who benefits from this system? It's not Chinese workers. It's American CEOs, hedge funds, and politicians. If we want real change, we need to stop blaming them and start holding our own leaders accountable.
So, to answer everyone's question, why don't you just make them in America now? Move your manufacturing here. If bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. is the goal, why are companies like Apple and Microsoft, who are most likely able to bring manufacturing back to the U.S., off the hook? I get that if we don't let them continue to manufacture in China and exempt them from the tariffs, that our cell phones and computers, which we all use, are going to get ridiculously expensive. I get it. But the latest manufacturing that was done in the U.S. that we were good at was tech manufacturing, and those companies moved their manufacturing to China. They have the biggest pocketbooks. They have the most likely ability to bring that manufacturing back to the U.S. I'm a small business. I invented a placemat. This is my prototype. I cut and glued this together. I made a product that stops babies from dropping and throwing their toys. It's a placemat. This is the real one. Suction cups on the bottom. Comes with little toy straps that allow you to attach toys so babies can't drop them and throw them on the ground. When my son was born, I had no idea how to turn it into a real thing. I was just a mom. I had a corporate job. I made one for a friend, and she forgot it one night, and she's like, oh my God, it was the worst not having it. I didn't realize how useful it was until I didn't have it. You need to make that for real. And I thought, wow, how would I do that? Well, I found a product developer who had the expertise to help me design the product for manufacturing. And that American product developer also had a team in China to help me start manufacturing. The reason I could not start my manufacturing in the US is because I am a small business. I cannot afford to make 20,000 units. The reason US manufacturers require such high production runs is because they have to import the raw material. The raw material does not exist in the US. And so they have to import that material in volumes that are big enough to bring down the costs. They also need the company they are manufacturing for to produce large amounts, because every time you switch out the machinery in a production line, you're not making money. It's downtime. So the factories in the US that have very high labor fees, that have very high expenses, they need to make product continually to be able to pay their bills. Totally understand that. So, to start my business, we started in China, where they were willing to do very small production runs for us. Because when I invented this and I invested my own money into starting this company, I didn't know if people were actually going to buy it. I didn't know if it was actually, I thought it was a good idea, but I didn't know if other parents would want to buy it. Okay, turns out they have. Cool. So now fast forward 8 years, and I have products sitting in China, ready to come. In my warehouse outside, I have about 2 to 3 months of inventory. When that is gone, I have no more inventory to sell. So then I have to figure out, how am I going to pay my employees, pay my insurance, pay my lease when I don't have any revenue coming in? I have 3 months more product that's ready to ship to the US. However, it's going to cost me, what are we up to now? Let's see, we're up to $229,000 I have to come up with in 30 days just to get it across the border. On top of the cost I've already paid for that product. I own the product. But just to get it across the border, that cost, I have to increase my prices. I have to more than double my prices. I'm selling products to people with babies. They're trying to keep up with so many new expenses in their life, diapers, some getting formula, baby clothes, all the things you have to buy and carry around with you for a baby. While my products are great for baby's development and they make life so much easier as a parent, you don't need them to raise a baby. People are not going to pay double the price for my products. So I can't import them right now, but I also can't run out of money. All right. If I found a factory today that was willing to do this, that had the right equipment, that had the right raw material, who had time, because these factories are already booked. The factories in the US are working hard. They're not just sitting around waiting for new companies to come in. But let's just pretend that one is like, hey Beth, come on, we'll do it for you right now. All right, cool, let's do it. First, we need to make molds. A mold, and I'm going to try and put that a bit in this video, is a steel plate that has cut out the shape of your product. And for my product, they take chunks of silicone, set it on the mold, which is heated, and then they compress it. It's compression molding, and it's heated, and it smelts the silicone and smushes it into the shape of a mat. Okay? Every piece of my product line has a different mold. The mini mat has a mold, the big mat has a mold, the bottle bungee has a mold, the tethers have a mold. I would need 8 new molds made. So you take American steel, which is not cheap. It gets sent to China to be tooled, to be turned into a mold to fit the shape, because that's where the expertise lies. And then it gets sent back. You do that 2 or 3 times until it's perfect. That process takes like 6 to 8 months. And because of the cost in the US, my molds, at a minimum, if I'm lucky, will be $20,000 a piece. So I need $180,000, $160,000 just for the molds, and I need 8 months to get them made. And that's before I can even start production. One production line with my mat can do about 100 mats a day. We sell more than that right now. So I need multiple production lines. I looked into starting my own factory. The cost of the equipment alone is $1 million. More than $1 million. Then I have to find somebody who has expertise. But since we don't do this type of manufacturing in the US, there aren't people here who have the expertise to run this product line. I have to pay more for insurance. I have to pay more for labor. The cost of my products will more than double. Who's gonna buy them? Nobody. Joe. So for everyone thinking it's so easy to just make it in America, like I'm all ears. I am not opposed to that in any way whatsoever. Tell me how. Tell me what I'm not seeing here. Help me figure this out. Because I'll do it. I will do it. I will make it in America if we can find a way that keeps me in business.
If one sector is affected during the supply chain, then of course the end result is going to be disaster, and that is what is happening in America. Supermarkets are warning, they're telling the government that in the next 3-4 months down the line, if they're not careful, supermarket shelves are going to be empty because of the new tariff. They cannot afford it. Customers will not be able to afford it, because what happens is when there are these tariffs, a company will pay for the products to be brought in the country, and then the cost is going to be the customer is going to carry on the cost, and usually it's the price is going to be double, triple, so that you can absorb the tariffs, so that the company can also be able to make a profit out of it. And that's basically what's happening in America. And now the result, the other thing which is affecting America right now, because we are seeing China literally looking for alternatives route to where they can buy products or sell their products, because right now they're not 100% depending on America. China wants to be self-sufficient, and of course they also want to have alternative markets where it's safer for them to sell their products, or to buy their products for their citizens. And America right now is seen as untrustworthy and safe place for China to buy goods from, and that is the reality. So now what's going to happen? Farmers in America right now, they're suffering. The China has refused to buy beef from America. China has refused to buy soybeans from America. And of course we are seeing the Boeing airport, or I mean the aeroplanes, also the China has refused to buy from them. And of course raw earth materials also, China has said they're not selling to America. So different sectors in America are going to be affected as a result of this trade tariff war. Who are going to be affected? Of course, it's the small businesses, farmers, of course, the small citizens who are depending on 9-to-5 jobs. Of course, it's going to be the small people who are depending on paycheck to paycheck. It's going to be people who are homeless. It's going to be people who literally are trying to get out of the poverty in America. And that is the reality. Billionaires and millionaires are going to be safe. They can absorb this shock, financial shock that is happening around America and of course across the world. But the people who are going to suffer are the people who are basically the middle class and the lower class, who are going to be affected. So what you need to do right now is basically look for alternatives where you can earn extra income, and of course find ways of cutting down on and buying unnecessary stuff, cutting down on that. And of course try to store on goods that you know you're gonna need in the long run, so that by the time prices go up, you're able to have your supply being saved at home. Only time will tell what's going to happen, but at the end of the day, the poor are going to suffer. Of course, it's going to be the middle class and the lower class people, the farmers, small business people, and of course normal person who depends on 9-to-5 paycheck. So next time you want to vote, please do your research. Make sure you do your diligent, so that the next election you vote for someone who has your best interest at heart. All right, guys, please subscribe. I'd like to hear from you. Bye. FAFO season continue, and we are seeing people complaining every single day, saying I wish I voted the opposite, the alternative, because right now I'm suffering. I don't know if my business is gonna survive these heavy tariffs. I don't know as a farmer I'm gonna survive this trade war. I don't know as a citizen who has lost his job because of the state funding. I don't know how I'm gonna survive this. And that's basically the tone around the country that people are realizing. People are going to the supermarket, they're realizing prices of goods have doubled, tripled, even 10 times of what they normally used to sell. You go to the supermarket, you see people are being charged like $22, and normally it used to be like $1 or $2 buying a certain product. And these are the results of the current administration new policies. Trade wars are not good, especially right now with the current globalization, because right now trading around the world is interlinked. It's a chain. So when you go to the supermarket and realize your favorite product is not available, don't be surprised. Why? Because as a global village, as a trade global village, every supply chain from different countries, they usually go from one area to another. By the time it reaches your supermarket, it's usually the end product. And if you affect one of the FAFO season continuing, we are seeing the results of the current administration, what they're doing right now, and we are seeing farmers are losing trillions of dollars because of the tariff trade wars between China and America. We are seeing China right now, they have literally decided to go look for new markets where they're going to get their beef, where they're going to get their soybeans, where they're going to get other materials that they used to get in America as a result of this trade war. And literally people are going to lose their farms because they are not going to get subsidies from the government. They're not be able to sell their produce to those who are selling to China. And this is a big loss for American farmers, to be honest, because for a long time farmers have been having this great relationship with China, where there's #1 market where they're buying their soybeans, where they're going to sell their beef. So for a long time, American farmers, they used to enjoy that monopoly of selling to China. And as a result of that, people were able to, to be able to build their homes, to be able to afford their mortgage, to be able to afford their farm, to be able to pay their workers, and of course to thrive and become financially independent as an American farmer. But now, come forward the current administration, and we're seeing now the results of the trade war. China has literally said, you know what, we are going to look for alternatives, and the alternative is they're sourcing for soybeans from Brazil farmers, from Australia farmers, and other parts of the world. And right now the Americans farmers, they're left hanging. They don't know what to do, how to go about it, and they're experiencing heavy losses. Remember, most of these farmers, they are servicing loans, they are servicing mortgages, and they don't have they don't have cash flow. They don't have subsidies which the former government used to give. Right now the current administration, they has cut off the funding of subsidies for farmers. So right now farmers are literally between a tight spot where they don't know what to do and how they're going to manage moving forward. So what's going to happen to the farmers, we don't know. Time will tell. But right now farmers are complaining. They're saying they're literally suffering and they don't know what to do, because if this continue, they're going to lose their farm. If this continue, they will not be able to afford paying to pay loans for their mortgages, for their farms, and of course for their car loans, and of course they are servicing their whole farm infrastructure. So what's going to happen to them? And remember, majority of the farmers are the ones who voted for this current administration. Majority of the farmers are the ones who followed exactly what this administration is going to do, and they realized they really realized what he was going to do, and still they voted for him. They voted for someone who had nothing good for them. And I know some people right now, they're saying, oh, you voted for someone who you know for sure is going to destroy your farming, is going to destroy your livelihood, and somehow you voted for him. Yes, as human beings, sometimes you can be short-sighted. Sometimes you can be stupid, and that's basically what is happening. So coming the next 4 years down the line, people need to tighten their seatbelt. It's gonna be painful, it's gonna be hard, but just hang in there. Then come the next election, please do your research, make sure you do the right thing and vote for the person who has your best interests at heart. Vote for the person who's going to help you to be able to take care of yourself, to have a roof over your head, to be able to take care of your family, and of course to be able to thrive doing your business, so that you're able to become financially independent as a family and as an American citizen. So guys, let me know what you think. But whatever is happening right now with these current policies in the country, in America, only time will tell whether it's going to be good for the American farmers or not. Only time will tell. But for now, people are feeling it, farmers are feeling it, and they're complaining and they're regretting their vote.